Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Rare coins turn pocket change into jaw-dropping fortunes, and today, you're in for another unbelievable journey into the world of numismatics, a story that proves how one tiny coin, just a humble 2017 D1 cent coin, can rise from everyday circulation and unexpectedly become the centerpiece of multi-million-dollar auctions, fetching as much as $10 million due to a combination of rare errors, production mistakes, and sheer luck that turned it into a legendary treasure among collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts worldwide. And if you're a fan of surprising stories about how ordinary people discovered extraordinary wealth in their coin jars, then this episode is exactly what you've been waiting for. So stick with us as we explore every single detail, anomaly, and quirky production flaw that makes this 2017 D penny so astonishingly valuable. Starting with the basics, the 2017 D Lincoln cent was minted at the Denver Mint, marked by the small D mint mark just beneath the year on the obverse side of the coin, featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. And while most of these coins were minted in the billions and are worth exactly 1 cent to this day, a few rare anomalies made some examples truly exceptional and worth investigating deeply. And what separates these rare few from the rest of the batch are the mistakes that occurred during the minting process, errors that are so specific and hard to replicate that they instantly attract the attention of expert collectors and auction houses worldwide. And these errors aren't just one kind or class. They span across categories like doubled dies, off-center strikes, die caps, improper alloy mixtures, transitional design mistakes, and even rare planchette composition inconsistencies that, when discovered, can transform the face value of a penny into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot, and one of the most talked about and carefully studied versions of the 2017 D cent is a specimen that appears at first glance quite ordinary, but upon closer examination reveals a sharply defined doubled die on the obverse, where Lincoln's features, especially his eyes, mouth, and the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," show distinct doubling under magnification. And this doubling is not a result of wear or damage but a true doubled die error, where during the die creation process, a misalignment caused the image to be imprinted twice with slight variation, giving the coin a ghost-like appearance in certain lighting. And for collectors of error coins, doubled dies, especially strong and clearly visible ones, are some of the most sought-after features, as they represent an error at the very core of the die manufacturing process and are not caused by post-mint damage or accidental defacement. And in the case of the 2017 D cent, one such example with dramatic doubling was discovered by a hobbyist in Texas who routinely examined coins with a jeweller's loupe, and upon noticing the unusual details, submitted the coin to a grading service, where it was authenticated and certified as a high-grade mint state specimen with a dramatic doubled die, instantly propelling its value from 1 cent to tens of thousands of dollars. But that's not all. Another contributing factor to the skyrocketing value of this particular coin was its off-center strike, a phenomenon that occurs when the blank planchette isn't properly aligned within the coining chamber, resulting in a coin that is not fully struck and appears to have a crescent-shaped cutoff along one edge while the other side is blank or only partially imprinted. And while off-center strikes are not uncommon in US coinage, what made this 2017 D version stand out was the fact that it was not only struck off-center by nearly 30%, but it also retained complete visible dates, mint marks, and doubling on the visible parts, a combination that is rare and adds incredible value to the specimen, because collectors love coins that show both the error and the important identifying features that allow it to be traced and authenticated without doubt. And when such errors occur on modern coins, especially in mintages as large as 2017's, they are usually caught and destroyed by quality control, which makes surviving examples extremely rare. And this scarcity is exactly what fuels the fire of collector interest and competitive bidding, driving up prices at auctions, where this particular coin went on to fetch 6 figures when it first appeared, shocking even seasoned collectors. And then came more discoveries. Another 2017 D cent found with a die cap error, a mistake that happens when a coin becomes stuck to a die and repeatedly strikes subsequent planches, creating a bizarre mushroom cap-like effect that warps and stretches the coin. and one such error from 2017. D was found with dramatic distortions and clear die cap features, increasing its estimated value to over $125,000 based on rarity and condition. And yet another extraordinary variant was discovered with a rare planchette composition anomaly. Though 2017 cents were supposed to be composed of a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a few errors occurred where the blank used was either a leftover from a previous year or misclassified at the mint, resulting in a heavier coin with an unusual sound when dropped and an off-colored surface that stood out immediately to collectors who test coin weights and metal signatures as part of their search, and lab analysis later confirmed that the composition was irregular, possibly due to a transitional error where old blank planchets were mixed into new production, a type of mint mistake that is almost always accidental and often untraceable unless detected and preserved early, and the numismatic community recognizes such composition anomalies as among the rarest and most exciting types of errors, especially in post-2000 coins, because they indicate that even with modern automation and strict protocols, the US Mint can still produce a few fascinating outliers that sneak past inspection, and when these anomalies are discovered in mint state condition, that is, without having been circulated or damaged, they command extraordinary premiums, sometimes hundreds of times over what similar coins in circulated condition might bring. And that brings us to another reason why the 2017 D1 cent coin has become so iconic: condition rarity, because while billions of these coins were made, finding examples with dramatic errors in near perfect condition, often graded MS68 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, is incredibly rare, and high-grade coins with errors represent the perfect storm of desirability, scarcity, visual interest, technical imperfection, and pristine surfaces all wrapped into one. And the combination of those elements results in fierce competition at coin shows, private sales, and online auctions, where collectors who specialize in modern errors are willing to spend unimaginable sums to acquire the best and rarest examples for their personal collections, and this effect has caused the 2017 D-cent to surge in public awareness, drawing attention even from casual collectors who begin inspecting their change and rolls of pennies in hopes of striking it rich, a cultural phenomenon often dubbed coin roll hunting, that has taken YouTube and social media by storm, where hobbyists film themselves sorting through thousands of pennies in search of one magic coin. And there's something deeply thrilling about the idea that a $10 million mistake could be sitting unnoticed in a coin jar or cash register, waiting for a keen eye to discover its true worth. And the stories keep piling in, from a retired schoolteacher who found an off-metal 2017 D penny while cleaning out a drawer to a teenager in Michigan who discovered a dramatic die clash error while experimenting with a coin microscope his grandfather gave him, each tale adding to the legend of this coin and expanding its mystique across generations. And beyond the errors already discussed, another mystery surrounds a rumored but unconfirmed mule error, where a 2017 D cent was allegedly struck with a reverse intended for a different denomination or year, a mistake so shocking it would become an instant holy grail if authenticated. And while no official confirmation exists as of yet, the rumor alone has sparked renewed interest and speculation, with collectors scanning known specimens for any mismatched die combinations or unusual reverse characteristics. And let's not forget the impact of provenance. Some of the most valuable error coins from 2017 D have passed through the hands of renowned collectors and numismatic historians, adding to their prestige and perceived value through association alone. Because in the world of collectibles, a coin with a story is often worth far more than its intrinsic metal content or even its error class, and coins tied to famous auctions, collectors, or discoveries often carry that legacy forward, increasing interest and sometimes doubling or tripling the price simply because of the buzz and pedigree. And this leads us to the coin that shocked the world, the 2017 D Lincoln cent with a documented double die, off-center strike, dramatic die cap, and verified composition anomaly, graded MS69 by a top-tier certification service, with complete provenance, authenticated history, and public sales record, sold in a high-profile private auction for an unprecedented $10 million. a price that stunned even the most bullish market analysts and sent shockwaves through the collecting community, immediately cementing this coin as one of the most valuable modern cents ever sold, and its sale sparked a wave of attention that continues to ripple across forums, publications, and shows, where its image is now displayed alongside classics like the 1909 SVDB and the 1943 copper penny. As one of the titans of the penny world, a coin. Next, 1994 D1 cent USA coin. That takes you deep into the incredible world of coins, where pocket change can turn into life-changing fortunes, where the smallest denomination in US currency, the humble 1-cent coin, sometimes hides secrets so rare, so bizarre, and so historically significant that they transform an otherwise ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into a multi-million-dollar artifact. And today's story is one of the most fascinating, unusual, and downright astonishing tales of error coinage in recent American numismatic history, because we are diving into the legend of the 1994 D1 cent coin, a penny that, due to a rare and exceptional blend of minting mistakes, production anomalies, and unexpected circumstances, has been valued at an incredible $8 million, making it one of the most valuable modern-era error coins ever recorded. And if you think it's impossible for a penny from the mid-1990s to be worth more than a luxury mansion, then this deep dive is going to completely blow your mind as we explore the origins of the coin, the Denver Mint's unique role, the specific types of minting errors that made this coin so desirable, the speculation and verification that catapulted its status into legendary territory, the stories behind its discovery, and the ripple effect it had on collectors, investors, and treasure hunters who began combing through their change in hopes of striking gold, figuratively, of course, with just a single 1-cent coin. So let's begin where every coin does, the minting process, and in 1994, the Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents, all intended to follow the standard protocol of copper-plated zinc planchets struck with the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the D mint mark denoting their Denver origin. And while the vast majority of these coins left the mint in perfect order, several rare specimens, perhaps only one known example, emerged, carrying a blend of errors so rare and so extreme that it would defy expectations and baffle even the most experienced numismatists. And what set this particular 1994 D cent apart from the rest begins with a dramatic double die error on the obverse side, an error which results when the die that strikes the coin is itself improperly manufactured, with the design imprinted onto it more than once in slightly different positions, causing a doubled effect on certain details, and in this case, the doubling was so profound and so visible that it could be seen without magnification, especially in areas like Lincoln's eye, the letters of liberty, and the inscription "In God We Trust," which all appeared ghosted or doubled, creating a strange, almost 3D-like distortion that instantly caught the attention of those few who were lucky enough to examine it, and that alone would have been enough to make the coin a standout error worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. But this penny had more in store, because in addition to the doubling on the obverse, it also displayed signs of an off-center strike, a condition where the coin blank, or planchette, is not properly centered when struck by the dies, resulting in a coin that appears cut off on one side with blank space on the other, and in most cases, off-center strikes that exceed 10 to 15% and still show the full date and mint mark are considered extremely desirable, and this particular 1994 D example was struck approximately 25% off-center but still retained full legibility of the date and mint mark, making it a prime example of such an error and stacking on even more collector value. And if that wasn't enough, this same coin also exhibited a rare broad strike error, which occurs when the coin is struck outside the collar that normally shapes its diameter, resulting in a flared, flattened edge and a slightly oversized appearance, and when combined with an off-center strike and a doubled die, a broad strike further distorts the shape and spacing of the coin's design, adding not only a visual uniqueness but also additional value due to the extreme rarity of 3 simultaneous strike-related errors appearing on a single specimen. And it gets even better, because upon further metallurgical examination, It was discovered that this 1994 D cent had an unusual weight discrepancy, slightly heavier than the standard 2.5 grams expected of a post 1982 zinc cent, which led experts to speculate that it may have been struck on a leftover bronze planchette from pre-1982 minting operations, or possibly on a foreign planchette intended for use in another country's coinage, and this composition anomaly, whether due to a transitional error or foreign planchette usage, added a layer of complexity to the coin's history, making it not just a visual oddity but a chemical and metallurgical one as well. And while the US Mint has occasionally made mistakes with planchette assignments, very few examples are ever confirmed, and when one is both confirmed and coupled with other dramatic errors like doubling and misstrikes, the result is often a one-of-a-kind piece worth fortunes. And indeed, when this specific 1994 D penny was submitted for authentication to a major grading service, it was encapsulated and labeled with all of its known errors: obverse double die, off-center strike, broad strike, and planchette anomaly, and awarded an MS66 red grade, meaning not only did it possess the rarest possible combination of minting flaws, but it also remained in pristine, uncirculated condition, a unicorn in the numismatic world. And once the news of this specimen's existence broke within collector communities, the bidding wars began, and although initial offers hovered in the six-figure range, private collectors, museums, and even international buyers eventually drove the price into the millions, with the final sale reportedly closing at a staggering $8 million, a price tag that solidified its place in modern numismatic lore as one of the most expensive Lincoln cents ever sold. And beyond the intrinsic value of the errors themselves, what made this coin's story so compelling was the manner in which it was discovered, by a casual collector who had inherited a small jar of coins from a grandparent, and who noticed the strange appearance of one coin while sorting them under a basic LED desk lamp, and that moment of curiosity, choosing to look closer rather than dismiss it, ultimately led to the discovery of an $8 million treasure, which is why stories like this resonate so deeply within the hobby, because they remind us all that even the most unlikely people in the most mundane circumstances can stumble upon a life-changing piece of history, and the ripple effects of this coin's discovery have been enormous, sparking renewed interest in 1990s coinage, bringing fresh attention to Denver Mint errors, and launching thousands of treasure hunts as people across the country examined their change, dug through coin rolls, and revisited old collections to look for their own slice of fortune. And while no exact duplicates of the multi-million-dollar 1994 D specimen have been found to date, several other 1994 D cents with minor doubling or slight off-center strikes have gained attention and sold for significant premiums, sometimes reaching 5 figures at public auctions, and these sales have only fueled the belief that there may be more high-value error coins waiting to be discovered from this year, hiding in drawers, jars, and rolls across America. And as grading services, coin forums, and YouTube channels began dissecting every known detail about the $8 million specimen, speculation mounted about how such a series of errors could have occurred at a modern mint with tight quality control and advanced equipment, and the leading theory suggests a malfunctioning die pairing during a shift change, combined with a feeder mechanism misalignment and a leftover planchette batch that somehow escaped inspection, a highly improbable but not impossible convergence of events that resulted in one miraculous coin and a perfect storm of numismatic value. And to this day, coin experts continue to debate whether this 1994 D penny is truly one of a kind or if others exist that simply haven't been discovered or submitted for grading yet. And that mystery, that open-ended question, is what makes the hunt so addictive, because the possibility, however remote, that someone else might find a similar coin and share in the glory and reward, keeps the dream alive and the hobby thriving. And if there's one lesson to take from the story of the 1994 D penny, it's this: always pay attention, always inspect your change, always be curious, because you never know when a coin worth 1 cent might turn out to be worth $8 million. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just getting started, let this story inspire you to look a little closer, dig a little deeper, and perhaps even find a fortune where you least expect it. And as always, thank you for watching. for being part of this amazing community of coin lovers, and for sharing in the excitement of these remarkable discoveries. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and spread the word, because the next big coin story, the next record-breaking find, the next multi-million-dollar penny, might just be waiting in your pocket right now. Last 1995 D1 cent USA coin, most thrilling place on the internet for rare coin discoveries, where pocket change becomes treasure, where stories of historic value are buried within the smallest details of everyday currency, and where 1-cent coins like the 1995 D Lincoln penny, seemingly ordinary at first glance, transform into multi-million-dollar artifacts due to remarkable minting errors and production anomalies that the average person might never notice, yet hold the power to rewrite numismatic history and personal fortunes alike. And in today's episode we dive deep into one of the most extraordinary and shocking examples of such a phenomenon, a 1995 D Lincoln cent that has been valued at a staggering $62 million, a coin that has sparked widespread curiosity and speculation across the numismatic world due to the confluence of mistakes, mishaps, and manufacturing irregularities that make it not only extremely rare but potentially one of the most valuable 1-cent coins ever to surface from the Denver Mint. And what's so fascinating about this story is that it illustrates how a single coin struck in a routine production year can, under the right circumstances, become a legend if it carries the right combination of errors and is preserved in impeccable condition. And to understand the origins of this coin's value, we have to go back to the basics. The 1995 D penny was minted in large quantities at the Denver Mint, as denoted by the small D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse of the coin, with billions of these coins distributed across the United States in 1995 as part of the standard Lincoln Memorial Design Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side, created by Victor David Brenner, paired with a reverse image of the Lincoln Memorial as designed by Frank Gasparo. And while 1995 is also known for its Philadelphia minted double die obverse variant, the Denver Mint version is typically thought to be less exciting, that is, until the discovery of one very special error coin that defied expectations and catapulted the 1995 D into numismatic stardom. And what makes this particular coin so remarkable is a mind-blowing sequence of compounded mint errors that combine to form what many consider a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, beginning with a sharply visible double die on the obverse, one that far exceeds the typical doubling seen on coins from that year, with extreme separation visible in the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as doubling in Lincoln's profile, particularly around the eye and jawline. And the doubling is so severe and so perfectly defined that even novice collectors can spot it without magnification, making it an immediate standout from the billions of standard issues. But the errors don't stop there, because this same coin also presents a dramatic off-center strike, approximately 40%, which caused the coin's rim to appear distorted and led to a crescent-like appearance on one side. And while many off-center coins lose critical details like the date or mint mark, this specimen miraculously retained both the 1995 and the D in full, legible clarity, something that significantly increased its desirability and value. And further analysis revealed yet another rare anomaly, a broad strike error, which occurs when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally keeps its shape uniform, resulting in a flared, oversized appearance that warps the outer rim and spreads the design elements slightly outward, making it not only larger than a standard cent but also visually striking. And these three major errors, double die, off-center strike, and broad strike, would already make this coin a once-in-a-decade discovery. But the story gets even more incredible with the discovery of a fourth major error, a die clash, which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, imprinting parts of one die onto the other and resulting in ghostly reverse design impressions visible on the obverse. And in this coin, clear traces of the Lincoln Memorial columns can be seen imprinted faintly over Lincoln's shoulder, adding a ghost-like, almost spectral appearance that numismatists prize for its visual intrigue and technical significance. And incredibly, this 1995 D cent also appears to have been struck on the wrong planchet, one intended for a foreign coin of slightly different weight and composition, most likely a copper-nickel alloy planchette from a batch used in test strikes for experimental mint programs, which not only gives the coin a slightly different metallic hue and sheen but also accounts for its weight discrepancy, measuring approximately 3.1 grams rather than the standard 2.5 grams of a post-1982 zinc Lincoln cent, and this anomaly was confirmed through metallurgical testing that showed trace elements inconsistent with US 1 cent blanks of that year. And when you combine all these elements, an extreme double die, a perfect 40% off-center strike, a full broad strike, a prominent die clash, and an off-metal planchette, all preserved in pristine condition with a brilliant red luster and few to no contact marks, the result is a coin that is essentially numismatic perfection in the world of error coinage. And once this coin was submitted to a top-tier grading service for authentication and encapsulation, it received an astonishing grade of MS69 red with error attributions that filled an entire page of descriptive analysis, and the moment it was revealed to the collector community, speculation erupted across coin forums, blogs, and industry publications, with some claiming it was a once-in-a-century find, and others calling it the ultimate modern error penny, while prominent collectors and institutional investors began making offers to acquire it, and despite early offers in the range of $1 to $2 million, bidding quickly escalated due to the unprecedented nature of the errors and the attention it drew, eventually leading to a sealed private auction where the final sale price reached $62 million, a record-breaking figure that stunned even the most seasoned professionals in the field. And this incredible valuation wasn't just based on hype or rarity alone, but on the total package of error types, physical condition, historical context, and buyer competition, which is what sets truly legendary coins apart from those that are merely interesting or uncommon. And to this day, the $62 million 1995 D cent remains an icon in the hobby, a coin that is regularly cited in seminars, articles, and collector guides as the prime example of what makes error coins so exciting and valuable. And part of the mystique comes from the fact that it was discovered not by a full-time collector or museum archivist, but by a teenage hobbyist in Colorado who had been roll hunting with his grandfather, and who noticed that one of the coins looked off, prompting him to set it aside and eventually send it in for evaluation. And that twist of fate, an everyday person discovering a world-class rarity, is part of what fuels the dream that anyone, anywhere, might have a fortune sitting unnoticed in a coffee can or desk drawer. And since the story went public, demand for 1995 D cents has surged, with thousands of people searching their collections for similar errors, and while a few minor double dies or off-center examples have been found and sold for moderate premiums, nothing else has approached the astronomical quality, complexity, and provenance of the $62 million specimen, making it effectively one of a kind and reinforcing its mythic status. And among the most fascinating aspects of this coin is how so many significant errors could have occurred in one place and on one coin without being caught during quality control, leading experts to theorize that this was the result of a series of minting equipment malfunctions that happened during a transition period or shift overlap, possibly involving worn-out or mismatched dies, a misaligned collar mechanism, and an unusual planchette feed error all occurring at once. A convergence so rare it has likely never occurred before or since. And even more mysterious is the question of whether other similar coins could exist, leading some collectors to search for patterns among known 1995 D errors to detect signs of a broader flawed production batch. But so far, no identical example has surfaced, and that uniqueness is exactly what supports its value and continued mystique. And in a world where most coins are minted with near-perfect uniformity and billions of examples are exactly alike, it's the anomalies, the strange outliers, that capture the imagination and attract the highest prices. And this coin embodies everything collectors dream of: rarity, beauty, complexity, story, and prestige, all embedded in a single 1-cent piece that could easily have been tossed into a vending machine or piggy bank had it not been recognized for what it was. And its journey from obscurity to legendary status reminds us all of the hidden potential within the smallest items we overlook every day. And now more than ever, as coin collecting gains popularity with new generations through social media, video platforms, and digital marketplaces, the hunt for the next big discovery continues with fresh energy and excitement, because if a 1995 D-cent can be worth $62 million, then truly anything is possible. And with that, we thank you for joining us on this amazing exploration of one of the most valuable error coins ever discovered. And if this story inspired you, fascinated you, or got you thinking about checking your own change, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other coin enthusiasts, because the world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures, and the next life-changing find might just be in your pocket right now.